There are tons of Waffle House videos on YouTube, and they go totally over the top. For me, as a Northeasterner with only access to Waffle House when I'm on a trip, it's just enough to talk about the diversity of everything that you can order there for such a low price. And on this last trip, I have a lot to tell you about. If you're unfamiliar, Waffle House is a somewhat legendary 24-hour diner, and their locations are mainly in the South, but they go out west a little bit too. Being an upstate New Yorker, I don't start seeing Waffle Houses until I get down around Pennsylvania. Where we are, the big breakfast spots are IHOP, which usually isn't open 24 hours, or there's Denny's, which usually are 24-hour spots, but they're legendary in their own right. You just don't hear people rave about the food at Denny's the way they do at Waffle House. We planned our last Outer Banks trip around an overnight stop in Delaware, and that was specifically, well, to split up the drive, but also to stop at Waffle House while we hit that longest leg of travel for us. Pretty simple place. After we got seated, we got our drinks, we started to look at the menu, and then some of the staff got a lecture on some of the house rules they may have forgotten.
Fan off. The restaurant is not full of people talking and the jukebox isn't going. If you want us to hear your order, you need to make sure you call it loud enough because we have food sizzling, cracking, we got spatulas, omelet mixers going, fans going, jukebox talking, dish pit going. Call your order louder, okay?
Waffle House has a lot of rules, and they have them all posted with a reminder that they welcome everybody, every day, including holidays. As uncomfortable as it was to be right next to the manager during this pep talk, everyone there was super nice to us, even if it did take me a while to figure out what I wanted to order. In the end, I'm a sucker for a great deal, and when I saw the price slashed on the menu for the all-star breakfast from $13 to $10.50, it was really difficult for me to commit to any other option on that menu. It's seriously a lot of food and totally not everything that I ordered. But it did account for the 2 eggs, waffle, grits, toast, and meat on the table. And of the meat options, this time I went with bacon, which is actually uncharacteristic for me. The sausage or city ham actually sounded pretty good too, and I probably would usually order sausage, but I think the meal was heavy enough as it was. A frequent point of disagreement with me and my wife is actually the designation between city and country ham, and that's something that you see a lot in the South. She knows country ham is a thing, but really never believed me when I say that the traditional kind of deli ham is considered city ham down in the South. And seeing it on the menu here, it's somewhat vindication. The one thing I always have to have at Waffle House in all of its disgusting glory is an order of hash browns all the way. As far as the rundown of what's inside, because it's just a pile of stuff, you can't make out most of what's inside of it based on the visual here. So I'll tell you, it's their world famous golden delicious hash browns with grilled onions, melted American cheese, hickory smoked ham, diced tomatoes, jalapeno peppers, and grilled mushrooms, and then it's topped with birch chili and sausage gravy. One thing I think is cool at Waffle House is on the menu and on the wall, they proudly post a listing of all the brand logos that they actually use to make the foods in their restaurant. The most captivating thing to me though is the birch chili, because that's actually an exclusive recipe that's a trademark of Waffle House, and it's freaking delicious. When you order hash browns all the way though, they clarify if you also want the sausage gravy on there because that's not printed on the menu as an option. In fact, just in general, most of what you can order at Waffle House isn't printed as menu options. They'll pretty much make you anything you want. Getting into how everything tastes, I need to start with the obvious and tell you that this is an incredibly heavy meal. The hash browns all the way could be a meal in and of itself, and being that this was kicking off a vacation, for me it was more about getting a taste of everything than it was finishing everything. The bacon and eggs are pretty much as standard as you can get. They did nail the over easy on my eggs, and that was perfect to dip the griddled flaky biscuit that was on the side there, and to drag through the buttery grits. The grits there are super heavy, but they're about as perfect an example of breakfast grits as you can get. Not gonna win a Culinary Innovation Award, but you just can't be disappointed by this. Now, I'm not here to besmirch the legend of the Waffle House, but to me, the waffles are actually fairly forgettable. Aside from that visual of a plate being filled with a giant waffle with smaller holes than you're used to seeing, and the nice browning on it. Let me know in the comments if you agree with this or if there's something I'm missing about the waffle at Waffle House. The hash browns all the way is where I focus most of my energy, and that's because there's so much going on between the cheese and the jalapenos, the creamy sausage gravy and the birch chili, and the chili is loaded with beef and beans. I don't normally love chili with as much beans as is in this, but overall the chili has a really nice zing that I don't have to amp up with hot sauce, but I totally could. This visit was the first for my son, and he really enjoyed his bacon, hash browns, and waffle. It was a double thumbs up kind of day. The last thing I want to mention here is that it really is an incredible thing that the prices are this low. It's seriously affordable. If you look at the price breakdown for the hash browns, and I gotta go to the notes here, the base of scattered hash browns is $2.75, and that's a bargain. And then it's 50 cents for each add-on. So when you go all the way, it adds $4 to the total, on top of that base price of $2.75, so you're looking at $6.75, and that includes the sausage gravy. And to me, it's clear that there are some toppings in there that really aren't worth the 50 cents, kind of like the tomatoes, and then some that are like super well worth it, like birch chili. So it evens out in the wash. For this whole table of food, we were out of there for under $40, and you can't beat that. So we left a nice tip for the hardworking servers and cooks. It's just the right thing to do. If you're a fan of Waffle House, be sure to hit like on the video and consider subscribing for more food breakdowns. I sure do love breakfast. And if you want to dive deeper into my breakfast content, I checked out 2 really incredible spots for brunch in California during our last California trip, and you can click into that video on your screen right now.